I forgot my coffee. If my doctor only knew what's in this cup. It's coffee, guys. It's coffee. It is coffee. And I'm trying to say, what's in that cup? Another episode. I'm telling you, welcome. I've been reflecting. And today I'm going to tell you what I've been reflecting upon. And it's a very, very important subject. Okay, so before I delve into our subject for today, there is this book here. I was beginning to read it, and there are certain facts that are in here that jolt you to start thinking so deeply about life. And it's what I've been doing a lot of lately, reflecting. So I'm just going to quickly, I'd folded the page. I don't know where my bookmarker is. So book readers, don't hate me for doing that. It's just for now. So I was reading this amazing gentleman called Michael Sandel. He talked about how we need to worry about our society moving into a place where everything is for sale. You think about that. Now, he talks about the reasons would be, first of all, the inequality. Those who have the money, those who don't. Everything, even the oxygen, in the future with the climate change, very soon we'll just be buying oxygen masks to move around with. And then what happens to those that can't afford it? This is quite a read, by the way. It's an eye-opener, and I've only just started reading it. So in case you want to add it to your reads, that's one of them. I should have told you this at the end, but I wanted to delve into it quickly. So let's go in today's subject, self-identity. Now, what can I say other than stress that point? Self-identity is who you are, who you become over the years. It is the person that you literally groom yourself to be. You know, like how you hear someone asking you, who born you? You know, the things that you do. And that is always affected by either your surrounding, the things you go through, your culture, your upbringing, society. It could be anything that leads to those changes that happen in you and create that person, those personalities, those character traits that are in you that create the identity. And I'm not talking about the ndangamuntu. That's just the physical identity. And of course, then you go into biometrics. That's different. But when I'm talking about self-identity, it's both psychological and sociological. Yes. And when we talk about psychological, it is what happens in the mental. What happens mentally when you're finding your identity versus social, what happens to you generally as a person as you find that identity, which again, I say it is affected by everything that you go through. It's quite an interesting thing because many times you hear people asking, you'll hear someone asking you a question about if you know yourself. Do you know who you are? Do you know what you stand for, your values, your identity encompasses so many things that even when you don't say anything and just do something, it could actually portray your identity or parts of your identity. And when you do not, I will give you, actually before I end here, there's a word that I learned, and it's a scary word, because I'll tell you the meaning afterwards. But now we're delving into this topic, which is self-identity. And there are a few points that I had tried to, because I talk for a living, I might talk and I forget some things. I don't like forgetting these things. I want to make sure that we get into what we've been reflecting about. And as always, I don't reflect alone. The reason I reflect is also to trigger you to start reflecting. Now, today we're reflecting about self-identity. I don't know if you have reflected upon that. Or maybe even you've been asking yourself, but why am I like this? Why am I doing this? Why do I keep doing this over and over? It could be somewhere within your identity. I'm telling you, there's so many things that I've discovered that happened that I went through that happening was contributed to by my identity. And it's so important, all the things that I've learned about myself. Now, when I was growing, remember there's somewhere where I get to talk about it. When I was growing up, I think I was talking about self-love. When I was growing up, in the society that I grew up in, the environment, you know how I keep telling you, I grew up in the ghetto. The reason why I keep bringing that up is because those years had so much to do with my character molding. of that stage. Because like I said, as you grow, it keeps changing. The society you're around, the people you're around, life's encounters, they keep building different things within you that then build that identity. Now, me, because of the environment we had grown in, I've grown up in, coming from a Rwandan background where what we had known up till then was war and exile and just, and then also living from hand to mouth, and then also people that God has put in your path that help you, so it built something in me where I at a certain point I felt like I'm not adequate, I'm inadequate. Like, what can I possibly have? I can't have that which can do much for anybody. So in me at a certain point I felt very little about myself. And also because of the surrounding that I was growing up in, when you wake up and there's nothing, it's a bit of hopelessness around you. It kind of creates a certain feeling, a certain perception within you. And if you do not get the right, if I say this, the right groups of people, or the right, like we call it, the right village, you could easily slip into that direction. And before you know it, you're on a sympathy seeking vote, and you lose yourself down that path. But lucky for me, it's the people then that I met later on during that phase, as we're youth, we're growing up, and we were in a church, and we knew that we had people around us who would help us, work with us, and help grow us. And that really, really helped me a whole lot to create a foundation of which I took off. I'm telling you, that's why I always look back and I'm like, hey, but Karitas, it's for showing off. But yes, and looking back, I always wonder if I had not looked the right direction, to the right people, for the right support, I wonder where I would have been. But even though I got that support, even though I had my fellow village mates, color mates, ghetto mates, we kind of had big dreams. And that's why I told you, I think I've said it, or I'll say it in the coming episodes. It's why that I got up from the ghetto and I went to an international school, and I looked at the headmaster in the eye and I told him, I want to join your school. Did I have school fees? Wapi? That's a story for another day. Some coffee. Okay, so first of all, I want to ask you to reach out. Let us reflect together. Like I always say, I cannot reflect alone. When I reflect, I share what I reflect. But I also want to hear from you, because life is all full of lessons. We learn every day, and that just never ends. So I want to learn from you, hear from you, while you hear from me as well. Get onto our socials, follow us, send us questions. If you need help in whatever subject we're talking about, reach out. You never know, we could connect you to the right people. But you are not alone at the end of the day. You're on Reflections with me, Karitas. And today we're reflecting on a very important word, self-identity. Now, I wanted to, first of all, break it down to the things that I learned. There is a difference between self-identifying and personal identity. Now, self-identifying for me feels like the most important thing, because it focuses on you. It is you, what you think about yourself, how you see yourself, how you carry yourself, everything, you. Go back to self-love. So it's all about that, about you. Knowing yourself, your traits, what you stand for, your values, and just building those for yourself is the most important thing. That is self-identifying, finding out the weak points, finding out the strong points of which you can build even more. But then there's also the personal identity, which for me, it feels like it's the one thing that has caused a lot of problems and led maybe even to depression for some other people. Reasons are, this is how the society perceives you, how the society thinks you are, who the society thinks you are. And that one there now is, it's almost like then they kind of lock horns, your self-identification and the personal identification. So it is the society that thinks that this is who you are. Yeah, Kakan, guys suffered with that. Being in the media, in the limelight, it's a very difficult life. extremely difficult. It's just that you get to see the glitz and the glum. But when the lights are off and the cameras are off, hi, it is real, very real. And if you do not know yourself, if you have not self-identified, you then start struggling, because what happens is you're listening to what everyone else is saying. All the noise, I always call it noise, because from being in the public eye, the noise was immense. There was so much noise. And starting off in that industry at a young age, and I mean it, young age, because I was just still finding myself as well, still trying to identify who I am. I didn't even understand all that. And then you're out there, you're cast out there, and there's so many different forces around you. The media seems to think they know you more than you know yourself, so they go on a roll about that, and they'll write about you. Oh, they wrote about me. Yo, man, I almost felt like I had shares. I should have made money from those guys, man. They wrote. There's nothing they didn't write. They wrote anything that they probably... There are times when I always wondered, how do you get up and you really put together all these words and you feed them to the nation about somebody? And I look at myself and even sometimes call my friends, you guys, do you think I'm any of these things? Because it was beyond me. But slowly, I got to start understanding myself. You know that thing that they say, hurt people hurt people? It's people who have not yet identified who they are. They don't know where their strengths are. They don't know how to stand for themselves, how to fight whatever forces they have. So they end up reflecting them on other people. Now, if you don't understand all that and how it plays on you, then you're doomed. That's when I told you, when the lights and cameras go off, you then start seeing people melt. Like, people don't know who they are. People don't know who they are without the cameras and the lights. And that is a sort of a sad, because you can't live your life, your real life, off lights and camera. No. When those things are off is when now the real life begins. Who are you? Who do you identify with? What do you stand for? What can't you stand for? Now, it is so hard when you're in the limelight, because you're trying very hard. You know, at a certain point, actually when you're younger, okay, let me say when I was young, I'm trying to use myself as an example. You want to put up a certain facade. You want the people to know you a certain way, your fans and your followers, but you lose yourself in so doing. I have been me. I have tried so hard to keep me because I didn't want to lose myself, but it is hard for other people. It's also hard for me. Like, you know, walking to the market. I love going to the market. I want to go bonga the border guys. I tell the guy in Sadirachi Nechifi, and I don't have to worry about that. But many people will struggle with that. But because I know who I am, what I stand for, I don't care about all these things. I know what I stand for, what I believe in, what I want. Don't lose yourself. That is self-identification. And I feel like I could underline that, put it in bold, put it in brackets, pump it up, give it some steroids, just so that you understand what that means. So it is so important for you to have that sense of identity, because I'm telling you, what happens is when you have that sense of identity, it is that foundation off which you build yourself. You understand? It is those characters, it's those pieces of you that create that identity that people will look for when they're looking for a worker. They're scouting for role models, for ambassadors, for, I don't know, whatever it may be. They will be looking for certain characteristics. They'll be looking for a certain type of person. Now, when you've self-identified yourself, just put that on steroids and you're good to go. I'm telling you, it helps you grow. It helps you just learn yourself more, because then you're self-aware. You're aware of yourself. You know the things you can and can't do. So even when you step out of line, chances are you'll just hold yourself and bring yourself back. You won't need to be punched back into line. It is not very easy, because for you to truly self-identify, first of all, you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to be honest and very open, as brutally and candidly as you can possibly be, because then you have to also look at your weaknesses. You have to look at those failures, those things that you're weak at, those things that you just can't help yourself but do or be. So you've got to kind of now be honest and say, hey, but Kari, your timekeeping sucks. Hey, oh, but Kari, you can laugh so loud. Okay, that's not me though, but yeah, you know, so that doesn't portray you in a good light. So let's organize that and let's bring it. Let's tame that laughter. I don't know, it could be any other character that you have within you that you feel isn't going to help you, or maybe it's good, it's rusty, and you just need to dust it off a bit. That is the process of self-identity. It will help you, shape you, it will help guide you in society, it will help you know who you are, and it will help you achieve your greatest possible goals. I mean, I'm so charged, by the way. The 2024 Temumpona. Like I was telling you, I'm just reflecting on my life, the years that have been, and I'm looking at it from my career angle and my personal perspective, and then the social. And I feel like my career, that space of my career, a lot happened, a lot was formed, and a lot of me was built during those days. Okay, so noise started. I mean, I was telling you about me and being in the industry and being out here in the media and in the public eye, and having you guys poke at us from every angle in whichever way. Okay, what that does, first of all, is it instills the negative, but also there's the positive side, which positive side for me would be that it helps also discover. But it has to find the person that is already self-identifiable, like you know yourself, like there's nothing you can tell me that, because let me tell you, there are a few things that I had to make peace with, and I think you also made peace with or make peace with, which is that people will always have a perception about you. Whether you're a baby or you're 190 years old, people will always have a perception about you. However, the question that I would throw then at you is, who are you? What do you know about yourself? Of what they're identifying you to be. What are the truths and what are not? If you've got some negatives in there, and that's what I was telling you about, being honest with yourself, being candid. It is allowing and saying, okay, it is very true. That is me. People who, there's someone that I used to work with, and anyone who knows me, I'm a jolly person, jovial. If you find me angry, leave me alone. You leave me alone, by the way. I really, really, really get angry. But if you find me angry, just leave me alone. I will come out of it because it's a rare occurrence. But the one thing that I do is when I'm around people, because the spaces that I am in, most of the times I'm working with people, is that I found myself a middle ground. Not let the negative, everything hit at me. But I had someone I used to work with. I will not even go into it because you guys may notice who the person is, because the person projected that outside as well. So it was not only me who got to see their character. But hey, this person, I won't even say male or female. It's so difficult to backbite people in public. Like I'm trying to be but it was very difficult to work around this person. Everything, this person was ticked off by everything. You came in smelling good, that's a problem. You came in with jovial, you're having a good day, that's a problem for them. They're having their work, you want to show them your maybe an idea of work, they get angry for you trying to help them. Like, it just felt like there was something very wrong with this person. I kept saying, but you can't possibly be negative half the time. How do you live life like that? Like, half the time you're angry. That's why I try so hard not to let people annoy me. Like, I'd rather walk away and stay away from you for like as long as it will take, but I don't allow you to get into here. And that is something that I try to protect, because you guys, for those that read some of those articles, you understand what I'm saying. The media bashed me. I probably would have gone down a spiral of depression. I would have probably become a junkie. I have no idea where I would have ended up. Because there are days I went back home and I would sit down and I think, but surely, what could I have possibly done to get all that piled up on me? But let me tell you what that did. I took all that and I used it to my advantage. Because I said, I know me. I know what I'm about. And even if this may sound cliche, it was so true to me. Those that know me, those that matter, I mean, that's all that matters. Those that know me know me. Those that don't know me and don't take the time to know me and choose to brand me the way they want to, that's different. Because I was self-identifying as I went on. Remember where I grew up from, my background. Oh, one day I'm going to open up and tell you my story, the story of my life. And I want to be as raw and as candid. There are things that I really want to talk about that I have never spoken about, things that I went through in the industry that I have never talked about. I want to talk about those things, and very soon I'll be letting you know where you can find that content. But I feel like there's a lot that goes on behind the scene for us people in the media, in the public eye, that many people don't know. But if it finds someone that doesn't know who they are, that hasn't identified who they are, I'm telling you, it is going to take you down a proper spiral and you will never see yourself go up. And it brings me to that question, which I should leave for the next conversation though, where people would ask, but how do you survive in this industry? The same thing you'd have people ask me when they've read stuff about me. There are times they would write about me. And when I'm walking on the street, I feel that I used to feel that people's eyes were judging me, of course, but also almost they were asking me silently if it is true. Sometimes I'm on air on radio and the caller will just call and boom, it's live, it's not recorded. And the caller just throws some question in regard to the article they may have read. And I am like, a gasp. But I had to start finding it in me. What weapon can I use to be able to stand? Because I kid you not, I'd have lost my footing and it would have been bad for me. Terrible. But I imagine there are people out there who are probably in such a space. You're in that space where you have no clue what to do. You are in a cloud. It's a whole mess around you. Everywhere you look is a blur. You do not know. You're like, I don't know. You're not alone. I know 30 minutes just flies back so fast. Let me come back and I tell you a few things that you could do to help yourself. So I was just sharing a bit about myself, and I'll continue to do so as I reflect upon my life, the journey on this beautiful planet Earth. Now, it's not just about the famous people or the people you see in the public eye, the people you like to call celebrities that go through these things, that suffer the lack of self-identity, where they don't know who they are and they follow what is being said about them. They follow the perception of their followers, their likes, their hates, their comments, the trolls. If you don't self-identify, those things could take you down. But let me tell you what, you're not alone. I'm here reflecting with you because I feel like I have my grace. They say grace, wisdom. Okay, I don't know. Sometimes they say it's genetic, but let me say it's wisdom for now. I'll use the wisdom route. So I'm just sharing all the things that I have learned through my encounters, my life's lessons. I don't like calling them mistakes. I prefer to call them life's lessons. So the first and most important thing that I feel that one needs to do is try and find a circle of friends. They don't have to be many. It could be one, it could be two. But these are people that will tell you as a not a big spoon, a fork, or a big spoon, that thing that they say, yeah? Not that. No, they will call a spade, okay? Not a big spoon. They'll be honest with you. They'll let you know what they think about what you just did. Then what you do then is reflect and say, okay, what I did, how I reacted, what I said to this person, where did that come from? I'm angry. Do I have anger issues to deal with? Where is that anger coming from? You people, you're going to look back. One day, this reflecting is going to bring things to light. You're going to look back and you will find that there is underlying anger. And you will be so surprised that this anger stems from when you were a child. Your mother didn't give you sweet potato when you asked for it. As a child, it registered as anger, but it stayed there. And now it has matured. So it's no longer sweet potato anger, It is life's anger. You have to be honest with yourself and dig deep and find the weaknesses and your strengths to work with. But the first important thing, find people who will be as bold and open to you as possible, and take it all in equal measure if you want to find yourself. So as I'm finishing, my last word, remember the word that I told you, that I learned, and it shook me. The lack of self-identity is called identity disturbance. Identity disturbance even sounds scary. It's like there's a lot going on there that's disturbing your whole being. So you don't want to be part of those that are disturbing the identity. Let's find our identity, and you're not alone. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with me. Send me messages. Send me questions. If you need help, I'll do my best to direct you or point you in the right direction if I can. Otherwise, let me go get myself another doctor. Mumaze kawa. I'm not drinking coffee again. I swear. I'm going to drink some hot water. As for you, I want you to take good care of yourselves. And as always, no glove, no love. Let's stay safe. Protect yourselves. Hydrate. Don't drink and drive. Ate bushisha bambi tubukendeze. Just enjoy the wogers. God bless.